Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hear me today, not just with your ears, but with your spirit, because I didn't come to entertain you. I came to remind you of something the world has tried to make you forget. Don't forget who you are. Life has a way of putting weight on you, the weight of expectations, the weight of disappointments, the weight of failure. And if you're not careful, that weight will press you down so hard that you lose sight of the very person you were created to be. You weren't born to live small. You weren't created to blend in. You weren't designed to be ordinary. But somewhere along the way, life hit you, betrayal hit you, rejection hit you, struggle hit you, and piece by piece, you started letting go of your identity. But I came to tell you today, you are more than your mistakes. You are more than what they said about you. You are more than the pain you've endured. See, the enemy doesn't attack what isn't valuable. The fact that life has tried to break you is proof that there's something in you worth fighting for. And I need you to get your fight back. Stop living for the approval of people who don't even know who they are. Stop shrinking yourself to fit places that were never meant to contain you. Stop settling for less when God created you for more. I don't care what they called you. I care what you answer to. You are chosen. You are powerful. You are destined. And no amount of struggle can erase what was placed in you before you were even born. So today, I challenge you, stand up, rise up, take your place, because the world doesn't need another copy. The world needs the real you, the bold you, the fearless you. No matter how far you've drifted, no matter how deep the pit, no matter how heavy the burden it is, not too late to remember. Don't you dare forget who you are. Now go and walk in it. Before the world ever put a label on you, before they called you by your job title, before they identified you by your mistakes, before life tried to define you by your circumstances, you already had an identity. You were created with purpose, with vision, with power. You were not an accident. You were not a mistake. You were designed by intention, built for something greater than what this world has tried to limit you to. The problem is, from the moment we take our first breath, the world begins to place names on us. It tells us who we should be, what we should do, how we should act. It puts labels on us based on where we were born, who our parents were, what we look like, what we've been through. And if we're not careful, we start to believe those labels more than we believe the truth about ourselves. But listen to me, you are not just what people call you. You are what you were created to be. Just because someone labeled you as broken, as unworthy, as not good enough, doesn't mean that's who you are. Just because life has tried to push you into a corner and make you feel small, doesn't mean you were made to live small. There is something inside of you that existed before the pain, before the disappointment, before the struggle. And if you're going to walk in your true power, you have to remember that. It's time to strip off the false names. It's time to take back your identity. You don't have to answer to labels that don't belong to you. You don't have to live up to the expectations of people who don't know your destiny. You don't have to stay stuck in a place that was never meant to hold you. When you understand that your identity was given to you before the world ever tried to name you, you start living differently. You stop begging for validation. You stop seeking permission to be great. You stop shrinking to make other people comfortable, because when you know who you are, you walk like it, you talk like it, you move like it. And nothing, no opinion, no failure, no setback can take that away from you. Forgetting who you are is one of the most dangerous things that can happen to you. Because when you forget who you are, you start living beneath your calling. You start accepting things that were never meant for you. You start walking in circles, wondering why life feels empty, why nothing seems to fit, why no matter how much you achieve, there's still a void inside you. The world is full of people who have lost themselves, people who once had a vision, once had confidence, once had a fire inside them, but somewhere along the way, life broke them. Somewhere along the way, rejection convinced them they weren't enough. Somewhere along the way, failure whispered, maybe you should settle. And little by little, they let go of who they were meant to be. When you forget who you are, you start letting circumstances define you. If life gets hard, you believe you are weak. If people walk away, you believe you are unworthy. If you fail at something, you believe you are a failure. But let me tell you something, your identity is not up for negotiation. Struggles may shape you, but they do not define you. Pain may test you, but it does not own you. The challenges you face are real, but they are not bigger than the power inside of you. Some of you have been carrying names that don't belong to you. Life called you broken, so you started living like you were broken. People called you insignificant, so you started shrinking yourself. Fear told you to stay small, so you stopped reaching for more. But today I'm telling you, it's time to wake up. It's time to shake off the lies. It's time to remind yourself that you were made for more. Because when you forget who you are, you settle. You stay in places that can't hold your destiny. You tolerate relationships that drain your energy. You waste time chasing approval from people who don't even know their own worth. But when you remember who you are, you walk differently. You speak differently. You dream bigger. You stop waiting for permission to be great, because you know greatness is already in you. So today, I challenge you, don't let life make you forget. Don't let pain rewrite your story. Don't let fear tell you who you are. Stand up, take your place, and refuse to live beneath what you were created for. Life will test you, but it can't change your DNA. It doesn't matter how hard the storm rages, how deep the valley gets, or how long the night lasts. What's inside of you is greater than anything that comes against you. You may have been wounded, you may have been knocked down, but what's in you is unshakable. What's in you was built to endure. What's in you was created to rise. Every person who has ever walked in greatness has been tested. You don't become strong without resistance. You don't develop endurance without struggle. You don't gain wisdom without pain. And yet, no matter what they went through, they refused to let their circumstances redefine them. They knew that trials could shape them, but they couldn't erase what was already written inside of them. You might have gone through some things that made you question yourself. You might have faced rejection, heartbreak, failure, betrayal, but none of that has the power to strip away your identity. You were created with purpose before the trial came. You were destined for more before the setback happened. And if you were meant to crumble, you wouldn't still be standing. See, the enemy wants you to believe that because you've been through hardship, you're no longer qualified. That because you've made mistakes, you're no longer worthy. That because life has bruised you, you're no longer valuable. But let me tell you, something gold doesn't lose its value just because it's been through fire. Diamonds don't stop shining just because they've been under pressure. And you don't stop being who you are just because you've been tested. The test is proof that you carry something powerful. The test is a sign that there is something in you worth fighting for. The test is not there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you, to strip away the doubt, the fear, the insecurity, and show you just how strong you really are. So don't let the fire make you forget what you're made of. Don't let the trials convince you that you are anything less than chosen. You are not what happened to you. You are not what they did to you. You are not what you lost. You are still standing, still breathing, still fighting, and that means there is still purpose inside of you. So shake off the dust, wipe your tears, square your shoulders, and remind yourself, I may have been tested, but I have not been defeated. I may have been through the fire, but I did not burn. I may have been through the storm, but I am still here. Because no matter what life throws at you, nothing can change who you are. Stop living for validation. Stop measuring your worth by the opinions of people who don't even know who they are. Stop waiting for applause to confirm what God already placed inside of you. Because the truth is, no matter how much you try to please people, it will never be enough. One day, they'll cheer for you. The next day, they'll forget you. One moment, they'll sing your praises. The next, they'll question your worth. If your identity is built on their approval, you will always be at the mercy of their opinions. Some of you have been holding back who you are because you're afraid of what people will think. You've been watering yourself down, dimming your light, making yourself smaller just to fit into spaces that were never meant to contain you. But let me tell you something, if you have to shrink to be accepted, you are in the wrong place. If you have to change who you are just to be loved, that is not real love. If you have to silence your voice to be included, you are losing yourself in the process. The need for validation is dangerous because it makes you a prisoner to other people's expectations. You start living life to impress instead of living life with purpose. You start chasing acceptance instead of chasing destiny. You start waiting for permission to be great when greatness was already inside of you from the beginning. But let me remind you, your value is not up for negotiation. Your worth is not determined by likes, follows, or applause. You were chosen before anybody had an opinion about you. You were called before anybody had the chance to approve or reject you. So why are you waiting for them to say you're enough when you already were? Some of the greatest breakthroughs happen when you finally stop caring about what people think. When you decide, I don't need their approval to walk in my purpose. I don't need their validation to be who I was created to be. When you understand that, you walk differently. You dream bigger. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. You stop allowing their rejection to hold you back because you realize you don't need them to agree with you in order for God to bless you. So today, make a decision. I will no longer live for validation. I will no longer shrink for the sake of approval. I will no longer let other people's opinions dictate my destiny. Because the moment you stop chasing validation is the moment you start walking in real power. Rise from the ashes. No matter what life has taken from you, no matter how many times you've been knocked down, no matter how broken you felt, you have the power to rebuild. You have the strength to rise again. What tried to destroy you will not have the final say. What tried to bury you did not succeed, because as long as there is breath in your body, there is still purpose in your life. Some of you have been through seasons where everything seemed to fall apart. You lost things you thought you could never live without. You faced disappointments that shook you to your core. You had doors slam in your face, people walk away, dreams slip through your fingers, and in the midst of it all, you started to believe that maybe this is just how life is. Maybe you weren't meant to go further. Maybe you should just accept defeat. But hear me loud and clear, your story is not over. What you lost does not define you. What broke you did not destroy you. The fact that you're still here means there is more ahead of you than there is behind you. You may have been through the fire, but you are not ashes. You are a survivor. You are a fighter. You are stronger than the pain, greater than the setback, bigger than the obstacle. Think about the phoenix. It may burn, it may be reduced to nothing but ashes, but it never stays there. It rises, it soars, it comes back stronger than before. And I need you to understand that's who you are. You were made to rise. So don't let the past keep you bound. Don't let failure convince you that you can't start again. Don't let heartbreak make you believe that love is over for you. But don't let disappointment rob you of your hope. You still have life, you still have purpose, and as long as you keep moving, as long as you refuse to quit, as long as you decide to fight back, you will rise. You don't have to stay in the ruins of what was. You don't have to sit in the ashes of yesterday. You don't have to let your past be the prison that keeps you from your future. This is your time to rebuild. This is your moment to rise. Shake off the dust, stand up, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, I will not stay down. I will not give up. I will not be defined by what I lost, because what's ahead of me is greater than what's behind me. Walk in your true power. You were not created to live in fear. You were not designed to play small. You were not placed on this earth to blend in, to shrink, to watch life happen from the sidelines. There is power inside of you, power to overcome, power to build, power to break generational curses, power to walk in a destiny that no one else can fulfill but you. But that power will remain locked up if you don't make the decision to step into it. Some of you have been waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the right people to support you, waiting for life to get easier before you step into your calling. But hear me today, there is no perfect moment. The right time is now. The power in you has already been given. It's up to you to activate it. Fear will try to convince you that you're not ready. Doubt will try to whisper that you don't have what it takes. Insecurity will make you question whether you're enough. But the truth is, you don't need to feel ready to be ready. You don't need to have it all figured out to take the first step. You don't need permission from anyone to walk in what you were already created for. It's time to stop waiting, stop making excuses, stop allowing fear to rob you of what is rightfully yours. Too many people live and die never stepping into the fullness of who they were meant to be. Too many dreams go unrealized. Too many gifts go unused. Too many people settle for less because they were afraid to step out. But that will not be your story. You will not be another person who looks back with regret. You will not waste your potential trying to be what the world wants instead of what you were destined to be. You are a force. You are powerful beyond measure. And when you decide to stop playing small, when you decide to step into the authority that was given to you before you even knew your own name, when you decide to walk in it, nothing can stop you. No opposition, no criticism, no failure, no fear. So today, I challenge you, stop hesitating, stop doubting, stop delaying your own breakthrough. Walk boldly, speak confidently, move with purpose. Stand in your power and refuse to apologize for being exactly who you were created to be, because the world doesn't need another version of somebody else. It needs the real, unstoppable, fearless you. Listen to Meth, this is not just another speech. This is a call to wake up, a call to rise up, a call to remember who you are. You were not created to live small. You were not designed to live in fear. You were not meant to spend your life searching for validation from people who don't even know their own worth. There is something inside of you that is bigger than the pain, greater than the setbacks, stronger than the storms you've faced. And today, I need you to make a decision. You will not forget who you are. I don't care how far you've drifted. I don't care how many times life has knocked you down. I don't care what labels the world has placed on you. The truth is, you were born with purpose. You were created with power. You were designed for greatness. And nothing, no mistake, no failure, no setback can take that away from you. So this is your moment. This is your turning point. This is your reminder to stand up, shake off the doubt, silence the fear, and step into the fullness of who you were created to be. No more playing small. No more waiting for permission. No more settling for less than what you were meant for. Because the world needs you, the bold you, the fearless you, the unstoppable you. Don't forget who you are. And more than that, live like you know it.